Hi everyone, this is Kyle with kayDbait. I wanted to make a serious video on what's been happening around the world and most specifically recently in Paris, which is terrorism. The reason I wanted to make this video is because there's a lot of reactionary stuff happening right now around the world that is troubling. And I'm not going to say that it's all wrong because an act of terrorism killed over 100 people, and it was really, really bad, and it's still really, really bad, and it's always going to be that way. When something like this happens, a tragedy should not be pushed aside or, not looked at as what it actually is. But there is a way to respond to this that needs to be addressed, that people are not doing. The reactions that I see, there's a lot of different kinds. There's the macho man, we're going to go and bomb them, we're going to go and destroy them, you picked the wrong guys to mess with. That's mostly from the United States, where it was like, oh, you attacked our allies, therefore we're going to destroy you. Then there's the we're going to change our profile picture to the overlay of the French flag and show our support that way. And that's one other response that I've seen. Then there's a few that are more logical, saying this is what happens when this happens, and this is the reason for it, and this is what, and they're just educating everybody about the facts. That's the one that I like, one of the most helpful ones, which I've seen several posts online of just these phone numbers are what you call if you need help. And I think that one's a very, very helpful one. It's educating people. It's getting people to know what's going on more. And I've seen Amazon, Yahoo, YouTube. I've seen a lot of different websites that just have a banner that either helps you. I also noticed that the Gmail, I think it's called Gmail Home Group, or Google Home Group. I don't remember what it's exactly from, but it just made it free to call anyone from Paris or France or anything. If you just made it free just to call them, and that's very, very helpful. It's showing your support actively, and I think that's good. But the ones that I don't think are good are the macho ones, and because I don't think that's the right response, because it's promoting this reactionary aggression. And reactionary aggression it's not going to be helpful in the long run, and it doesn't show a unifying force of help. Destroying the people that hurt you is not the main solution. If you wiped out as many Islamic people as you could, which is a lot of the generalization that comes from these kinds of attacks, after 9/11, which was the big one here in the United States, there was an immediate racist movement within the United States where people that looked Islamic or looked Muslim were attacked. And that's not what we should do. That is a reactionary aggression. It's a broad statement of we're going to hurt you. And that's the negative aspect of it. There is a way of using that in a positive way, which is to redouble your efforts to protect the public. But you can't use it as a justification for racism. You can't use it as a justification for this general broad statement of we're going to get you because you hurt us. And the same goes for where that attack happened. That hundreds of people were hurt. There were a lot of people died. There was a state of panic. The government got involved. Police were involved. There was panic. It was bad. And all of that fear is what terrorism is about. Chaos is what terrorism, one of the main aspects of it. There are other things, and I was reading some posts about it, and I think they were very educational. Terrorism is not just about forcing somebody to do what you want. We have demands. We're going to keep attacking you in this way until you give into it. Terrorism also, it needs to perpetuate itself. It can't just have one demand and then go away. That's not how it works. This level of terrorism, this level of attack, isn't just for that. It's a show of power to show what they can do, to help people see how powerful they are and to join them. It's a recruiting thing. And it also is trying to get the reaction that we're giving it, this aggression, especially towards the innocent people in those countries. If we were to go and attack or if anyone were to go and attack unjustifiably the innocent people there, because there are innocent people there, or the refugees that are coming in fairly, that are just trying to get away from this terrorism already, then if we attack any of those people, then we are becoming the idea that they are pushing in their areas, saying, look, they're monsters. This is why you should join us. So they are using that aggressive response as a form of recruiting more people, because that is what they are an organization for themselves. And it's always to gain power, to gain influence. So when you have a group of people that their intentions are right, they want to stop terrorism, they want to stop innocent people from dying, but what they do is they react instead of thinking a proper way of dealing with it. And I'm not saying that the proper way of dealing with it is easy. I'm saying that you need to stop and think about it before you go and punch somebody, or you go and bomb somebody, or you go and declare war on somebody, because those things they're in line with what terrorism is about. It doesn't help in the long run because it perpetuates their narrative, their desire for a response, because that's what terrorism is about. It's about specific responses. And I see that there is a lot of unifying around the world to protect Paris and just to protect anyone who's innocent or who has been wronged by these people. That's wonderful. I'm not saying anything bad about that, but there's more to do than just saying they have your support. There's places you can donate to. There's places you can volunteer for. There are people you can contact and lend your services to, or to just try and help. But then there's also support, just verbal, that is for the victims. But I don't think that that's enough, because there's too much of it now. Before there wasn't. There's always been a lot of problems. But we need to change the culture from reactionary to thoughtfulness and consideration, because that reactionary mentality is why terrorism works at all. So giving your support but not changing the behavior it's just the minimum you can do. And it's almost nothing. And I do understand that people want to give their support without doing anything, and at the very least you change your little headline thing to, little colors. And I think that's neat. It shows that you care, but it's the same thing as, I'm only doing this because, it's a thing I can do. And I'm not trying to say that it's wrong. It's not wrong. It's just not enough. There are people dying. And I mean, there's also a lot of other things that I think are kind of hypocritical about it. Is like, well, we wouldn't care if it wasn't our allies. We wouldn't care if it was as much if it wasn't Islam or a Muslim group doing it, because we want to get mad at them. And of course we would still get mad, but we wouldn't get as mad. So it's about this. There needs to be more of a consideration response about caring. And I mean about everything. There's always going to be something like this happening around the world until we actually make it so that people don't want to do this. And that's where the terrorists come from, is people want the chaos. They want the power that they can gain from it. And those groups, and there's a lot of them. There's not just ISIS. There's not just Al-Qaeda. There's not just, there's dozens and dozens of them, and they fight each other. But the people in that area suffer way more, and we don't care. We know as a people that there are dozens of these terrorist organizations killing hundreds of thousands of people, not just a few, hundreds of thousands of people all the time. And because it's in that area, we don't care. It's not until they branch out and attack one of our allies that we care. Like, oh, it's their problem. So it's not. It's outrage. It's a reactionary outrage, and it's not how it should be. If we cared, and I'm not saying caring enough to go over there and send troops. I mean, we tried doing that, and we messed everything up. The reason those groups are even active right now is because, you know, the destabilization of the area because their leader was murdered. But that was hindsight's 2020. You know, people said that, but they weren't listened to, and there was just a lot of mistakes were made, in hundreds of thousands of people are dead because of it. But I can't change that. We can't change what happened in the past. So we're trying to fix it now, and that's what I'm focusing on. So we can't keep doing the same thing. We can't keep just attacking everybody and hoping that our military is enough to, you know, control the population of the entire country in a very non-developed area where people can come up with these plans with almost nothing, and with stolen tech, stolen weaponry, and pretty much just go about and doing whatever the heck they want because nobody can stop it on that level. It's too small. It's too secretive. You can find sometimes, I mean, there have been a lot of plots that were stopped because they made mistakes or because, you know, we got lucky, or, you know, any kind of, you know, hard work can pay off. But there's too many, and they won't stop just because we do that. Actually, we're making the organizations have more members because of all of these atrocities to humanity that we are doing. The wiretapping, illegal wiretapping, the detaining of certain individuals makes them feel that they are being singled out with racism or bigotry, and then they become more aggressive to respond to that, saying, look, they're not treating us like humans, they're treating us less than humans. The attack on their religion, the attack on their image. And there's just, I mean, Guantanamo Bay was probably one of the best recruiting things for those terrorist organizations, because you look at it, crimes against humanity happened there. We know that. They know that. They just have to say, look, they're treating us like dogs, worse than dogs. I'm not saying dogs should be mistreated, but you know what I mean. They're treating us like animals, and we need to stop that. And then people will look at that and they'll, oh, well, yeah, that's really, really bad, and then they recruit them. So we have to be better. We have to be a better people around the globe, and that is how you stop terrorism. We have to not just attack them because they attacked us, because no matter how good we are at it, unless we glass the entire area, we're not going to stop them. Not entirely. The only way to stop terrorism is with unity, consideration, and this idea that they can exist and that they don't have to do this. Now, there are going to be crazy people. There are a lot of crazy people, and I know crazy people, and they just hurt everybody for no reason. Those should not be put into power, and those people are put into power when there is chaos, because they are the best at spreading it. So we need to stop that. And our reactionary, we're going to go destroy them because they hurt our brothers. I'm not saying that that is inherently wrong, because it is a natural response to want to protect people that you care about, but it needs to be tempered. It needs to be controlled in a way that actually benefits, as opposed to, you know, just you think it helps. It feels like it helps, but it doesn't, because it's just playing into what terrorism is. So there needs to be a more considerate response, not just more military might. And I'm not saying the military isn't the only thing that, well, there is points where it's necessary. When people are being hurt and killed and murdered on a mass scale, the military has to get involved. But it shouldn't be the first response. It shouldn't be the only response. It shouldn't be the one that is glorified as the response, because those are the reasons why it's there in the first place. And they're perpetuating the problem. Military force has always been a last resort. It always should be a last resort. Not saying that it shouldn't be a resort, because there's always a time when it might have to be. But we have the biggest military in, like, not by number, but by by just technology and all that. The United States has the most powerful military in the world, and we use it all the time. And we, as a people, we think that it's one of the most useful things, and we're trying to make it bigger, all the time. It's a huge part of our budget, and there are other ways of dealing with this. This kind of enemy that we're fighting, the terrorists, the larger our military doesn't necessarily be more effective, because they took most of our tech. I mean, we gave it to them technically, to fight another group, which we're kind of doing again, and another group is kind of doing again with another side, and it's just, whose side do we side with? And there's this, that's going to be a mess. But another thing is, we don't know enough about it, like the people. Like, we know what happened, and we know kind of why it happened, but we don't really know the people that were involved, like why they did it. If we got all of those people that attacked together, like we got them, and we were just talking to them, and they told us everything they knew, what would they say? Why did they do it? Is it because they hate us? Is it because we are the monsters in their eyes? Is it because they think we're an affront to their God? Is it because that they just wanted the chaos to spread so that they can recruit more members? There's all kinds of different reasons why people are doing this. And when you understand those reasons, you can respond. It's not fulfilling their demands. It's changing our culture so that their attacks don't work anymore. And you've seen it after 9/11 and after this attack. It's a unifying force against them. But our unifying isn't always good. We attack them. We divide from them when we add each other. It's like, okay, everyone in the world unite against them. And the ignorant attack them without thought. It becomes bigotry. And that's not right. I saw a post saying that 2 of the people that attacked were in the refugees, that were in the Syrian refugees that went to Paris. 2 of them. I don't know how valid that information is, but I'm going to just say, if it was valid, if that was the reason they got in, I would still support protecting the Syrian refugees, because the main reason they're trying to get away is because of the terrorists already, where they're from, killing them. In mass, enslaving them, raping them, killing them. They're trying to get away from that. If they bring a few with them, that is not the reason to shut them out, because you're condemning them to even worse stuff. And to say we must protect us over you is a dividing factor again. And I know this is a controversial thing. I know that people are going to disagree with this. But this is about humanity. This is about being better than the terrorists. The terrorists are trying to hurt everyone. The refugees, the places they're going, the people that want to help them. They're trying to hurt everybody. And that is not a reason for us to hurt them as well. So, I'm talking about the refugees. That's not a reason for us to become less, to become fearful and ignorant, because that's what it is it's fear that they might not be who they say they are, the refugees, so that we put this broad, sweeping dismissal upon them, find somewhere else to go. And a lot of them will die because of it. Even if one were to die because of it, it's wrong. Because you are condemning them, like, as a people, as a culture. And yes, people are getting into the countries that might want to hurt us. I mean, they're obviously, it happened, I guess. But that conversation needs to be a lot more than just, oh, get rid of them. And I've seen that. I've seen that a lot. Oh, look, we were right. The Syrian people, the refugees, were hiding terrorists. Like, no, they weren't. The terrorists were hiding in them, and that's wrong. And, it's horrible because it aided in their attack. But I've also seen responses that were similar to, well, they got in on fake passports, so they would have gotten in anyway, it just made it easier. Getting 2 people into the country or 3 people into the country isn't hard. The other 5 or 6, however many there were, got in other ways. So you can't dismiss hundreds of thousands of people. In this case, I think it was 50,000. But in the United States, I think they're going to be grabbing, 100? 150? I don't remember. But you can't just dismiss all of these people because they might have a danger within them. The danger is real, and we should not dismiss the danger, but we can't also dismiss them as a people. The refugees, it's not immigrants. It's not people coming to look for work. It's people trying to get away from death. And just like Hurricane Katrina, where people were dying and you wanted to relocate them to somewhere safer, that is something that should be done. And this is on a much larger scale for a much harder system, because the water is not going to come with them, but the terrorists might. So you have to figure out a way of doing this. But showing them humanity, these people, these refugees, show them humanity, show them caring and understanding and compassion, they will remember that as a people. Think, look, we were in a time of trouble. They helped us. Look at how they helped us. Look at how they cared about us. They teach their children that the compassion that they were shown is something that helped them survive, and that it didn't have to be given because there was fear and there was doubt, but it was given, and that's good. Show the next generation what kindness can bring, and the terrorists will have nothing to attack. They'll have no reason to attack because it won't work. And they might still do it because they're crazy, but they won't have an effect. It'll be a unifying force again. And the next time there's refugees, those people that were the children of them will step up, and they will help as well. They will say what is right, and they will do what is right. And that is what needs to happen. We can't be fearful and ignorant, because it just pushes that to the next generation. It pushes it that the ignorance is the right course of action, that fear should be reacted to with anger or resentment or dismissal. And that's not right. That's not what we should teach the next generation, because they're like, you know how people say children are our future? Not just children. Ideas, concepts, the way we build our world entirely is the future. And the culture of these people is important, not just having 1 million babies, because those are just babies. You have to raise them away. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. Terrorism is trying to break all of this down, to break down our culture, to make us worse people, so that there's more chaos, so that they win. And it's a lot of different reasons. And I think that we need to respond in a better way. That's my view of it. I'm very, very serious about this. I know you won't necessarily agree, because there's a lot of controversial stuff in here about how to deal with these things. But my end game for these ideas is that someday, if we continue to respond in the positive and in the trying to bring people together, these terrorists will not have recruitments anymore. People will say, why should we attack them? They have been good to us. Now, right now, we haven't. We attacked them, killed their leader, just a whole bunch of bad stuff. Mistakes were made, and that's like the smallest way of putting it, softest way of putting it. But if we show that we actually care, generation after generation after generation, eventually the hate will stop. And eventually the hate it'll be something that is not promoted, that it's not good anymore. The people who try to spread it will be just stopped with kindness, and maybe they'll realize that it's the wrong way as well. It's whimsical, it's fantastical, but it's possible. It just takes a lot of effort, and people need to see that. And it won't happen in my lifetime, I know that, but I'm going to always push for that. Push for the good people. And there was I don't remember who said it, but it was always look for the helpers in a time of tragedy, because there's always going to be helpers, and I believe that. I don't remember if that was Mr. Rogers, but it's true. It's when there is tragedy, there will always be people trying to help, and those are the people that are good, that are right, not the people that are trying to loot or people trying to hurt others because there's chaos. It's the people that even when everything's going wrong, they're just trying to make everything better. And that's what I believe. So that's it. That's my video for today. I hope this was entertaining or educational. I hope that I helped people understand a little bit better my side of what I believe in regard to the terrorist attack and just the way things are happening right now. And I hope to see you all in the next video. So, peace.